Hello everyone, my name is Ivan. My topic for this video is going to be on abortion for my class CGS 3095. So abortion refers to the termination or end of a pregnancy either by the expulsion of the embryo and fetus from the uterus. And the main debate on abortion centers around whether the fetus has the right to life, whether it should be considered a human being, at what point does life begin. There's a lot of gray areas surrounding this topic, and also whether a pregnant woman should have the right to terminate the pregnancy, regardless of health or quality of life outcomes. There are mainly two groups surrounding this debate. You probably heard of them already. Pro-lifers and pro-choicers. Basically, pro-lifers refers to people who believe that the woman should not have the right to an abortion and that life begins at conception. And since life begins at conception, then that means that a fetus is a human being and therefore should be given full rights and moral status. And if a fetus is a human being, then abortion is treated as murder. And if abortion is murder, then those who partake in that action, such as the woman or the doctor, then they should be prosecuted. And there are moderate stances within the pro-life group. For example, some people consider life not to begin at conception, but at in the first heartbeat, which is 5 to 6 weeks. And then on the pro-choice camp, pro-choicers believe that it is the woman's decision if they choose to terminate the pregnancy. They also believe that it is morally permissible to terminate a pregnancy on almost all grounds. There are some exceptions. On the more extreme end, they believe that it is morally permissible to terminate a pregnancy at any time that it's inside the woman. And on the more moderate side, it's only morally permissible if the fetus has a 50% chance of living without the mother, which is at around 24 weeks. And I think that's actually the current law in the United Kingdom, that you can actually abort at 24 weeks or less. So there's a lot of gray area and controversy within the abortion debate, such as what is considered to be a life, at what point should we be defined as living human beings, and when should we be protected by human rights. So pro-lifers generally believe that life begins at conception because that is the moment at which you have your own unique DNA, and the only morally permissible abortion would be if the mother's life is at risk. On the other hand, pro-choicers do not consider the fetus to be a separate entity than the mother. It considers the fetus to be a part of the mother's body, and the fetus therefore it's up to the mother to decide what to do with her body, since they consider the fetus to be a part of her body. And we're talking about right up until birth. So the main counter argument to the pro-life life begins at conception is that it is equating basically a clump of cells at this point to a fully fledged human. And if you put them side by side, I think it's very clear that the has much more moral weight than a clump of cells. And basically, the pro-life counter-argument to that is that yes, it is just a clump of cells, but eventually, just given enough time, it will develop into a full human being. And therefore you can, if you take a look at the picture, it has the cells on the left, which will turn into a fully formed human being, and the cells on the right, which are just red blood cells. And they're saying which one would you value more? The one on the left that is going to become a human being, or the ones on the right, which are just, non-sentient cells and will never be human. Another pro-choice talking point is that legalizing abortion will actually reduce suffering, and because it will reduce childhood neglect. And also, legalizing abortion would reduce complications from unsafe abortions that will happen if abortion is illegal. And women who are not ready for a child could actually harm the child, and it would lead to greater chances of misfortune if they decide to have the child. And it will increase the chances that the children will not have a promising future, such as poverty. Another pro-life argument is that legalizing abortion will quote unquote kill around 40 million people per year worldwide. And of these people, uh, there's a great chance of those 40 million abortion in them are great people with the minds like Albert Einstein, geniuses that can solve many of the problems of the modern world. And therefore, by legalizing abortion, we are preventing these people from carrying out acts that might solve many of our problems, and therefore reducing the good in the world.